So we're back at this working space. It's pretty cool, eh? I'm about to make the fire. Nice little wood burning stove again. Okay, right. Gonna go light the fire. Firelighters. Lovely. Thank you, Kim. Great. Look at that. Beautiful. Very, very nice. Get this place warmed up before Holly gets here. Okay, right. We've got a nice roaring fire now. Look at that. Beautiful. Now I gotta wait. It's certainly very quiet in here. And I can see how giving yourself a chance to just stop with your thoughts, it's a really nice thing. Nice job, Kim, with Unlost Cabins. So yeah, Holly has arrived, finally, to the Unlost Den. Cool. So Holly and I just met 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And we got into a conversation about rewilding.
And
adventuring. And I was thinking, that's really cool. Because I've always been intrigued about rewilding and then how that might apply to business and people.
Yeah, the company I run is called Wilder Work, with the intrinsic belief that getting people outside and into wilder environments, like where nature is restoring actively, has a real impact on people and how they think, what they do, and creates this really long-lasting behaviour change, which is what if you're spending a lot of money on an off-site, a strategy day, your quarterly get-togethers, your socials, whether that's your summer or your Christmas, getting them in places where nature is actively restoring and you can be part of that journey. Boom.
Yeah.
Only you know your own innate strengths, skills and values, and my role as a coach is not in any way to move you from that intrinsic path, but is to get you more connected to it and then feel inspired to deliver on it.
When I was driving over the South Downs this morning into Ditchling, it was like, could rewilding be an attitude? As people, as businesses, to have that sustainable attitude where we're going to put more in than we take out. Because businesses need to make a profit, they need to take a yield, but they need to reinvest. And there's this balance of how much do you reinvest and how. Obviously, the most expensive resource is going to be the human capital, but if you can really make them happy and invest in them in a thoughtful, mindful way, then they can make a big difference.
I don't know, when you're there, there's like this energy that when you say like rewilding's an attitude, it is. It's like, there is this sense of you don't have to over-engineer things. That progress doesn't come from perfection. That messy is good and good things will find a way. That feels quite loosening when it comes to business, I think.
I like that.
Yeah, it releases this sense of like tension I think we have as founders in our chest when you're there. I think what we're finding is lower levels of happiness because human beings are geared for connection. Where you have eating with your neighbours, relying on people in your network, being vulnerable and open and asking for things and not being independent, that's what makes people live longer. You only have to go back, 60, 100 years and that is much more how we lived and how we're happy. The fact that most people can now get a Deliveroo to bring them a bag of sugar when they've run out of it. People don't just nip round to their neighbours anymore and ask for it and catch up. We don't have these interconnected webs that make us happy. And similarly, we've lost that at work. I think where people are now finding it more convenient to work from home, they've then lost that vulnerability of just asking for things when they need them and relying on other people's strengths instead of their own, to create this sort of network and pathway of things getting done and feeling happier and safer in that tribe of people you're doing it with. It's about trying to create that rhythm for those things to happen. And that's what I think, employers now have to do, take on board.
Our bodies, our minds, our spirit, our energy, our life force is very complex.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're taking a magnifying glass and you're actually saying, okay, whatever I'm doing right now isn't working. I need to do something, do that radical awakening or radical change that is required to move forward in life or in business or whatever your situation is, to actually stop for a minute and understand all these different moving parts.
Ancient Hornbeam Woodland is completely shut off to the public. No one is allowed to go there. It is such a site of specialist
Really?
interest.
Where is this? Whereabouts?
Can't tell you.
Oh, you can't tell me. It's top secret.
Well,
Okay. So that keeps it exclusive. That's
this
exclusive.
is in East Kent on one of our sites.
Okay.
So we cannot. Part of the contract that we have with the landowner there is that we have to be super secret about where it is.
Okay.
But we will take people there and we'll take them on a beautiful walk.
Blindfolded.
Yeah. It's,
Maybe that's part of it. Could be part of it.
We've got a drop up. We'll take them on a walk there, and then we can do a sort of shorter or a longer walk, then back to where our teepee is. We can have a big fire. We can have a lovely lunch there, and we can really then talk to people about how they felt. And we can have we can have a big walk across that landscape, and we can really explain the story of that site. We can really show people the difference between regenerative and industrialised agriculture there, and we can create a group that then hopefully will come back again in the summer and maybe come back again in the autumn, and they can start to see that land through different seasons. There's something about when you're there, it's like being in Narnia. It's so fucking weird the way these trees are. Like it with your brain in a way that you feel like you're transported back in time.
Really? Weird.
And you can sort of see why they've done it this way, because you can imagine hunting deer through those woods. And there are still wild deer in those woods, and it's it's amazing. And then you go through the whole landscape and really learn about that, and then we'll take them all on this big walk. You have that lovely sense of everyone can chat and walk and talk to each other, and then we'll land back there, and then we can just, for those that want to, can stay over in a spa hotel, and we can even go on to, a couple of drinks in the evening or whatever it is.
Okay.
That'll work really well.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess if you're listening to this out there, then it's seen the light of day, because we set expectations reasonably low. It's
Absolutely.
like, we don't know, well, we're just going to have this conversation, see where it goes, and if we do something, then we can share this original conversation with the world. You're looking to provide people at least a 10x return on their time.
Absolutely.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Always.
I don't know whether you look at that. So if they can get 10 times what they invest, minimum 10 times, then it's a success.
Absolutely.